Conservative new media viewers, JLin fans around the world, Charlotte Hornets fans around the world. What's up? It's me, PFE, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert, and we're here to discuss Charlotte Hornets' 111-102 defeat tonight to the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix, Arizona. The Hornets drop to 17-18 on the season. They have now lost 5 straight games. The Suns improved to 13-25 on the year. They snap a 9-game losing streak. The Suns had 6 players in double figures, led by Mirza Teletovic off the bench with 19 points. Charlotte got 25 points from Kemba Walker. All 5 of their starters were in double figures, and Troy Daniels also was in double figures with 13 points off the bench. He shot the ball really well, and I believe he closed out the game on the floor. JLin, 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. He played 29 minutes, shot 6 of 9 from the field, including 1 of 2 from three-point range, 2 of 4 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 turnovers, no block shots, no steals, 2 personal fouls, and Jeremy's plus-minus was a -8. The reason why the Hornets lost this game was because Phoenix shot 19 of 33 from the three-point line. 19 made three-pointers, which I believe is a season high for them, and that's just an unbelievable number of three-pointers made. The Hornets, on the other hand, made just 11 three-pointers, although they shot a pretty good percentage, 40%, 39%, which there's nothing wrong with that, except when your opponent shoots 58% from three-point range, and they took 33 three-pointers. Look, this is an extremely frustrating loss for the Hornets. This was a game that they really needed to win, and I'm sure it's a game that they expected to win. And the problem was, and I said this on Twitter during the game, they didn't seem to be taking Phoenix seriously enough early in the game. It looked like Charlotte was content to try to get into a scoring contest with Phoenix tonight rather than focusing on defense. And that's been one of the Hornets' main weaknesses in recent losses. They've scored the ball exceptionally well. The problem is they're not playing good enough defense. They're not stopping their opponents. And I just think the mentality is off here. And Steve Clifford seemed to feel the same way. He took 2 early timeouts in this game, and both of them seemed to be geared towards trying to get the team focused on putting more energy into defense. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen quickly enough. And what then occurred is Phoenix got more and more confidence as the game wore on. And so then when Charlotte kind of tried to close the gap and pull ahead, and they did pull ahead by 5 points later in this game, it was too late because Phoenix was already feeling good and had a bunch of momentum and confidence at that point in the game. And that's the danger that you will encounter when you don't focus on defense early. Phoenix scored 34 points in the first quarter of this game. Charlotte scored 32 points, which is excellent, but they just allowed Phoenix to do too much in this game early on, and after that, Phoenix felt like they had a chance to win. They were motivated. Of course, this was an important game for them also with the losing streak that they had coming into this game, so they needed a win. And the Hornets gave the Suns hope. They gave them a reason to feel good about themselves early in this game, and that was a big mistake. Like I said, look, it's up to the coach to get the team motivated, but Steve Clifford knew it. He could tell what was going on early on, and that's why he called the 2 timeouts early. Just I don't know. The guys just did not have the proper mindset tonight, and it cost them in the end. Now, as far as Jeremy goes tonight, look, Jeremy was terrific in the first quarter of this game. He had 13 points in the first quarter. The rest of the game, he wasn't as good. He was still fine, just not as good. And in the fourth quarter, it was really difficult for him. He started the fourth quarter, and he came out of the game for Troy Daniels, I don't know, maybe about 7.5 minutes left or something like that, because I think he had 2 turnovers in the quarter. And I don't think it's so much that Steve Clifford was trying to punish him or whatever. It's Steve Clifford desperately wanted to win this game. And so it's like, look, Troy Daniels was hitting his shots tonight. He was particularly hitting 3-point shots. He was having a positive impact on the game. At that moment in time, Jeremy didn't seem to be having as much of a positive impact. So I understand why Steve Clifford did it, even if it was frustrating to see it happen. Look, there were 2, and I just, again, I have to be straight about this. I like Jeremy, whatever, but I have to tell the truth. There were 2 failures, so to speak, or 2 points of failure for Jeremy Lin in the fourth quarter tonight. The first one was at the beginning of the quarter. He was playing point guard. He was running the team with Kemba Walker out. And at the start of that fourth quarter, I think Phoenix went on a little bit of a run. Or Charlotte didn't cut down the lead anymore, something like that. And so because of that happening, Steve Clifford took a timeout with Phoenix on a run, and he put Kemba Walker back in the game. Now, I'm not saying this is all Jeremy's fault or Jeremy's Jeremy quote-unquote failed utterly or whatever like this. It's not like that. What I'm telling you is from an evaluation perspective, like in the coach's mind or the coaching staff, the concept was, okay, we need to rest Kemba because he played the entire third quarter, I believe. Now we're going to let Jeremy run the team, and let's get some stuff done here. Well, that unit with Jeremy playing point guard didn't get it done. They went the other way, and so Kemba was put back into the game. Now, I'm not saying it's Jeremy's fault. I'm just telling you that when he was running that squad, they didn't do well. And so Kemba came back in. And then the second failure, however you want to characterize it, the second difficulty that Jeremy had in the fourth, was then Kemba's back in, and Jeremy started to try to do a little bit too much, which is something that he will fall into at times, or he has. And the last turnover, I think, was kind of like, okay, this isn't going to work right now, or Jeremy's not assisting us. We got to go with somebody else like Troy Daniels because we need to win this game. And it wasn't just Jeremy Lin. The same thing happened to Jeremy Lamb. Jeremy Lamb wasn't sure if he was going to play tonight because he hurt his wrist in the previous game. And he came in and he was not playing good defense. He was not playing good defense, particularly against Booker of the Suns. Devin Booker, who hit several threes himself. And so Jeremy Lamb only played 7 minutes in this game. And that was basically like Clifford telling him, your defense just isn't cutting it tonight. So it's not personal. It's just that Clifford desperately wanted to win this game. And so no matter who wasn't getting it done at a single moment, they're out of there. And same thing would happen to Kemba, same thing would happen to anybody. Unfortunately for Jeremy, it happened to him, and it happened in the fourth quarter. I'm pretty positive that the plan going into the fourth quarter was to play Jeremy the entire fourth quarter or almost the entire fourth quarter. However, because of the couple turnovers and just the way things were going, that didn't end up happening. And that's unfortunate. This is one of the rare times this season that Jeremy wasn't able to finish out the game, and where you could kind of say that, well, it was because of how he was playing that he didn't finish the game. At least that's the way, again, that's the coaching staff might evaluate it. Now, I don't want to be too harsh on him because he did his best. He did what he could do. He was just he wanted to win very badly. And that's why he tried so hard and tried to do as much as he could do to help the team. And this is why it's really important, and we've talked about this over and over again. You have to understand, as an athlete, or as in anything, really, but certainly in the field of athletics, you have to understand what you can do and what you can't do. And then you must work within those limitations. Doesn't matter if they're temporary limitations or permanent limitations or whatever it is. You can't try to do things that you're not capable of doing. And I think Jeremy was trying to do things and trying to make drives and stuff that they just weren't there for him tonight. Maybe it was because his ankle's still bothering him. He's playing with a sprained ankle. Maybe it's his balance was off. He was kind of getting ahead of himself or slipping and sliding tonight. One of his turnovers, clearly he slipped on a wet spot on the floor, so that wasn't even his fault. But Jeremy can have issues with his balance on some of his drives and when he's dribbling. He can accumulate turnovers, as we know, and he does have a tendency, when he's not fully playing disciplined, he does have a tendency to try to do too much. And that's why we said many times, the best thing he can do is get his jump shot down, so that you don't have to drive. You don't have to be super one-on-one guy. You can pull up and hit a jump shot. Now, to be fair to Jeremy, with Nick Batum out, the playmaking duties tonight, in terms of setting up the rest of the team and scoring, really came down to JLin and Kemba Walker. So I understand what Jeremy's thinking. I know he wants to do it. It's not wrong what he was doing or what he was trying to do, but you still have to execute on the court. So if you're going out, no matter what your intentions might be and how good they are, you're just trying to help the team. If you go out and turn the ball over, there's a good chance you're going to come out of the game. The Hornets had 13 turnovers tonight as a team, and JLin had 5 of them. That's just... it's not going to work. Not in a game like this. And like I said, I feel bad. It's not my intention to just rip on Jeremy. He's not the reason why the team lost. Let me put it that way. The big men tonight, particularly the big men off the bench, Spencer Hawes and Frank Kaminsky, they just really didn't have anything tonight. They were missing easy shots. They couldn't get up and over the rim to finish passes, including passes Jeremy was giving them. So I'm not blaming Jeremy for the loss. I'm telling you, as somebody who is focusing on JLin, he has to work on that aspect. And tonight, the negative aspect, if you will, was the turnovers. He played solid defense. He helped lead the defense, kind of was helping and leading the defense. Is a lot of you're talking, you're yelling things out, communicating, kind of directing guys. He did a good job with that. He shot the ball well. It's just the turnovers more than anything. And when the turnovers took place. So, look, you can't play a perfect game. But for Jeremy, for him to play at his best, he must play disciplined even when he's under stress. Even when the team's down and you're trying to make a comeback, you still have to play disciplined then. And unfortunately, in the fourth quarter, Jeremy got out of that mindset a little bit, and that's why he ended up on the bench. Whether you think it was fair or not, that's what it was. That's why Steve Clifford decided to do it. Now, look, Kemba had 3 turnovers himself. Kemba didn't shoot the ball well. Kemba only shot 9 of 24, which is, 35%. So it's not like I'm not saying Kemba was incredible. The difference between Kemba Walker and Jeremy Lin, or one difference, is that Kemba, because of his driving ability and his athletic ability, Kemba can get a good shot almost any time he wants. He's able to get separation from his defender almost every single time he wants to. The challenge for Kemba, and what has been the challenge for Kemba over his career, is he can get good shots, but he doesn't always make the shot. He might not be able to finish a layup, even though he makes a great move to get a layup. That's where his challenges are, or have been. This is Kemba. Overall, this is probably Kemba's the best year of his career. He's played phenomenal this year. And Jeremy doesn't have that same burst athletically to get separation that Kemba does. And to be fair, very few players in the NBA have the same explosiveness off the dribble that Kemba does. So Kemba's a talent. That's why they look to Kemba a little bit more than Jeremy, because Jeremy has a tougher time getting his own shot than Kemba Walker does. And that's why he's looked at so much. The way that the team tries to use Jeremy a lot, and they definitely did it tonight, is they use Jeremy to set up Kemba. In other words, rather than having Kemba use a bunch of energy dribbling the ball, we'll give Jeremy the ball. Jeremy will drive, and he'll draw defenders, and then he'll pass to Kemba, and Kemba will have a wide open shot. And that combination worked several times tonight. A couple of Jeremy's assists were just like that to Kemba, and it works great. And it's like I said, it's just playing within your skills. And that's the challenge for Jeremy. That's the challenge. And, of course, he can continue to expand his skills. He will get better at certain things. He will get better at one-on-one moves, as he has throughout his career. It's just, again, I'm focusing on him because these videos are about him. And so that's why I'm kind of picking on him as compared with the rest of the team. As I said, Spencer Hawes and Frank Kaminsky were terrible in this game. They shot a combined 1 of 13 from the field. And look, Frank's got limitations himself, and so does Spencer. Neither one of them is particularly athletic. They get shots blocked all the time. They miss layups. It's almost like when Jeremy was playing with Omer Asik. He's just has a little bit of a lack of athleticism, and it's enough that he misses shots that he should be converting. He should be dunking balls. Instead, he's missing layups that for other guys would be converted dunks. That's what happened to Spencer Hawes and Frank Kaminsky tonight. And as I said, the team overall, the way I would characterize this loss and the mindset coming in is they thought they were going to show up and they were going to win because Phoenix lost 9 games in a row and they're missing one of their best players in Eric Bledsoe. Charlotte took the game too lightly and they paid for it. And that's basically what happened. And to Jeremy's credit, he did not take the game too lightly. He was one of the most focused of the Hornets. His issue was he tried to do a little bit too much in the fourth quarter. He tried to get outside of his current skill set, and that's what ended up happening for him. And like I said, Clifford had a short hook tonight. He had a short leash. Nobody was going to get a benefit of the doubt, and it didn't matter who it was. He would have pulled anybody tonight because he just desperately wanted to win this game, because this is a game that, looking at the schedule, you really need to win this game. And that's where Clifford was coming from, and unfortunately, It just didn't happen. Troy Daniels, feel great for him. Of course, Jeremy played with Troy in Houston. Troy's a shooter. That's what he does. He hit 3 of 7 3-pointers tonight, which was terrific. Marvin Williams played well. P.J. Hairston played pretty well. Cody Zeller played pretty well. The starters played well. The bench just didn't hold it up, and that's not a surprise because they're missing 3 would-be starters in Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Al Jefferson, and Nick Batum. So what you then have is you have bench guys starting, and your bench thus gets weaker, and so that you get what happened tonight, which is the bench, the reserves couldn't quite hold it together, and in the end, they kind of cost you the game. Look, it happens. It's not a disaster. It's not the end of the world. It is a bad loss. It's a very frustrating loss. This was just really disappointing to watch because you know that if the Hornets had about 20% more focus, they probably would have won this game pretty easily. But it just wasn't there. They didn't have the energy at the beginning of this game. One of the assistant coaches who was interviewed at halftime, and I can't recall his name right now, this guy with a beard, said essentially that. He's interviewed coming out of halftime, and he's like, look, they had more energy than us. They punched us in the mouth. In other words, Phoenix came out ready to go. They were focused on winning the game, and they really dug in and made it happen. And Charlotte wasn't digging in as hard early. As I said, that's the danger. Once you give a team confidence, doesn't matter who they are. Could be the Philadelphia 76ers, could be just not a good team. But if you let them feel good, then you got a problem. Then they believe they can win. And that's what Charlotte did in the first quarter. They didn't take it seriously enough. They didn't play enough defense, and that's why they ended up losing this game. And I said it's a disappointing night, frustrating night for pretty much all the way around. It's disappointing for the team. You feel bad for Jeremy. He wasn't able to close out the fourth quarter. He's frustrated. And, look, that's what happened. But it's one game. Jeremy got to start. He played just incredibly well in the first quarter. He was leading all scorers. He looked great. There's certain things Jeremy can do and there's certain things that he's not as good at doing. And you just have to stay within that paradigm, at least for now. His skills will expand. He'll get better teammates. I said on Twitter during the game, Charlotte they really need to get some better and more athletic big men that can finish some of these plays around the rim. Frank's a good player, and I think he's going to be a terrific player in the league. But in the last couple games, he has been getting his shot blocked around the rim like over and over and over again. And he's got to figure that out. He's got to make adjustments on that. And he's had some really nice games lately, but tonight was definitely, I don't know if you want to call it a regression. It's just kind of like tonight just wasn't his night. And it didn't help the team a whole bunch. But like I said, so it's certainly not all, this isn't all on Jeremy Lin or he caused the team to lose. No, he didn't. He was one of the best Hornets early. He helped the team kind of overcome their malaise that they had. But unfortunately, wasn't as good in the second half. That's just how it goes. Okay, that is about it. That's what I have to say. So we'll hear what you guys think and seeing how you feel about this game tonight. The next game coming up is in 3 days from now, so it's good. The team has a couple days to rest. They really got to go after it in practice. Got to be focused. And they're playing a much better opponent the next time out, and that is the Los Angeles Clippers, who recently came to Charlotte and beat the Hornets in their own building. That game will take place here in the United States on Saturday, January 9th. As I said, 2 days of rest for the team between. That's great. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So the Saturday games, sometimes the weekend games, you get pretty early starts, and this is one of those games. That means the game will take place on Sunday, January 10th at 4:30 a.m., super early, throughout China and in Taiwan, throughout the nation there as well. So, thumbs up, thumbs down, your comments below. We want to thank Gary Chen for the artwork you're looking at right now. Gary is an artist and blogger in Taiwan. He's also a member of the JLin Garden fan group, which is headquartered in Taiwan. Thanks to Gary and JLin Garden, and you can learn more about Gary and the JLin Garden group if you follow the links in the video description below the video player. Also, in the video description, you'll find information for highlights of this game. Finally, in the video description, you'll find information how you can come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group and how you can come follow us on Twitter as well. Once again, I'm PFE Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 JLin YouTube fan channel. Look, these games happen. Losing skids happen. It's a long season. Unfortunately, the Hornets they've fallen out of playoff contention right now. They're not one of the top 8 seeds in the East right now. Still, they're not too far back. And I don't think they're far off of what they need to be doing right now. Offensively, they're playing pretty darn good basketball. They just must lock in on defense. They must communicate better on defense. They just gotta put more effort into it and more concentration and more focus. And that was always going to be the challenge of this team. They were going to be good on offense. How good were they going to be on defense? And they need to kind of go back to the workshop and redraw the blueprint and just kind of go over it again. And I'm sure that they will do that. They're better than 17 and 18, that's for sure. They are missing some key people right now, but they're still good enough. They just didn't quite figure it out tonight. And as I said, it was disappointing. I mean, if you're a JLin fan, it's exciting. He gets to start again. It's certainly a winnable game against Phoenix, and I expected the team to win. So it was frustrating. It's a frustrating defeat. But look, it doesn't matter who you beat. You just need to get wins. So maybe they can kind of pull it together and really come out hard against the Clippers on Saturday. You win that game, then this loss goes away. So that's what they need to focus on. Rest up, practice up, find something to light a fire under yourself, come out and play some good basketball against the Los Angeles Clippers. That's really what the team needs to do, and that's where you go from here. I mean, you can't brood about this loss. You shouldn't have lost it. You lost it. Now move on. Okay, hope you're having a great night or great day wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Take care, and we'll talk to you again soon. Looking forward to reading everybody's comments. I was on Twitter earlier. I haven't had a chance to respond to people's thoughts and messages to me. I'm sorry about that. I've just been really busy the last couple of days. Hopefully I'll get a chance to kind of do that in the days to come. So take care. We will talk to you again in a couple of days.